we're discussing traceability with Mihir Patel, manager in EY Supply Chain Operations Practice, who will be joining the all-star speaker lineup we're having at ESITEC 2024. He will share his insights on the impact of traceability on compliance, profitability, and sustainability. Thank you, Mihir, for joining. Before getting into your presentation and the insights you will be delivering to our audience during ESITEC 2024, could you please tell us what traceability is and why it is so important and so relevant?
Absolutely. And yeah, like before I go into that, thank you so much, Jorge, for having me here today. Traceability, basically, it means the ability to track your products and the components, or if you have a CPG product, like raw materials, raw ingredients, up until the point of its origin, right? So that's basically like a simple definition of traceability. You would see different application or different use cases of this depending on the industry that you are in. If you just take an example of Apple has their products coming in from all over the place. Their chips are coming in from China, and even within the chip, their subcomponents of those chips are coming in from their end tier suppliers somewhere in Asia, or somewhere in Mexico, somewhere from there, right? So just that ability to track your products and your component all the way from its origin is what basically traceability is. Why it is important? I think it has three big use cases or importance of it. One is just I would say prevention of a lot of different things. So prevention of something related to supply chain disruption, right? If you have the ability to track your product, you would have a really good understanding of any supply chain risk, any major supply chain disruptions affecting your supply chain, basically, right? And the other thing within the prevention bucket is, I would say, just the compliance aspect of it. You can prevent any legal concerns or prevent your company from getting into legal troubles just by being compliant, because you are able to track your product and you're then able to make sure that your end tier suppliers are compliant to all the new regulations that are coming in, because these end tier suppliers could be a very small company that would not even be aware about these kind of compliance requirement, right? So I think that I would say is a big plus if you have traceability across your product. The second thing I would say is the operational aspect of it. Just have that opportunity to understand your operations better and operate it in a really streamlined manner, which could at times give you a competitive advantage that would help you beat your competitors in the market, right? And then the third big aspect I would see is we talked about prevention, we talked about operationalizing it, and then we talk about now the progress. You can make really good business and progression because of having good traceability program, right? You have seen consumers are being more brand aware, more compliance aware, more sustainability aware. And if you show them hey guys, if you track this barcode, you would see exactly where your coffee is coming from. It really excites people. It really makes some of the brand conscious consumer aware about where their food is coming from, and consume your product more compared to your competitors, right? Apparel industry these days, right? Fashion industry, it's not just related to food and pharmacy, which we would believe would always be on the top priority of consumers, but also now the fashion industry, people are very aware about where their products are coming from. They want to be confident that they are not harming they are not harming environment, they are not harming people, or they are being they are buying products which are considerate about all of these issues in the world. And I think that's just a good way to put how traceability helps in giving you a competitive advantage.
Great. So Mihir, what can ESITEC 2024 attendees expect to learn during your presentation?
Two key things within this that I really want to focus during the presentation is in terms of challenges, right? Currently, we are working with a lot of different clients and consumers who who have systems in place. But still, like, and like with all the technology advancement that you talk about, like, blockchain has been around for a while now, and the moment we talk about traceability, everybody's mind goes to blockchain. But like, hey, you don't bring out an atom bomb just to, like, fight your neighbor, right? So think about solutions, like technology solutions that can really work, that are existing right now. You don't have to go find out, like, new innovative technologies and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted to focus about, like the challenges that companies are facing in adopting a good traceability program. Like, within the technology, what things that they have, and within that existing technology, what are the challenges that they're facing, and how that can be addressed. The second thing that I want to focus on is the human aspect of it. We talked about, like, the authentication, but we also need to talk about, like, how, like, in certain industry, like, that human aspect is very important. For example, pharmaceuticals, food industry, like, you need to have people who not just understand this, like the technology, the product, and what authentication and auditing and stuff like that is required, but also, like, understand supply chain and traceability, and bring it everything back to, like, your organization level, right? So the people aspect of it is equally important. And I think, like, those two things would be, like, my key focus area in terms of challenges that the industry is facing. And then, like, seizing the opportunity, right? Like, again, I'll go back to the growth example, the competitive advantage example, and then the third thing that I would see is just the compliance aspect of it, right? We see compliance is like an ever-changing, like, platform, and, like, you need to be up to date with whatever new things are coming. One of the things I think that it's not it's not that new anymore, but there was a act called UFLPA, Uyghur Forced Labor Protection Act, that was enforced in US about in December 2022, which basically prevents products that are coming from the Uyghur region of, like, Xinjiang region of China province, right? And they wanted to make sure that all of the forced labor issues that are happening in that region, the products from those factories are not entering into US, and things like that. Like, there is a website that CBP has published, where they publish the numbers of, like, how many product that they, or like how much product that they blocked at the borders just because they're coming from that region, or they did not have the ability to prove that they are in compliance with the US forced labor compliance requirements, right? So I think that's the bigger opportunity that I see, like, in terms of, you are able to grow your business, you are able to be compliant, and then you are able to find that competitive advantage that your competitors are looking for through traceability. So I think those would be my two key topics, and, like, subtopics within those two key topics that I want to focus on during the presentation.
I really look forward to your presentation, because sometimes we are not able to see how something like traceability can not only increase value and provide this competitive advantage, but also make a mean that will help you prevent forced labor, that can guarantee the provenance of products, and provide this visibility, being more transparent. You're making the world a better place, and I like that a lot.
No, and I think, Jorge, you picked up on the right point, right? Like, you saw, like, how a lot of my response was not on, like, just the operational efficiency. Like, obviously, right? Like, with traceability, you improve efficiency, you improve on your operational capital and all of that, right? But it is, like, a lot broader than just your operations. It is compliance, it is growth, it is making the world a better place, and all of it, which is what I really wanted to, like, convey through this. And I'm glad you already picked on it with just, like, 5 minutes of me talking. And I hope, like, everybody else gets a more detailed version of this during the conversation that we're going to have in October.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mihir. We'll look forward to your presentation during ASETEC 2024. Please visit asetechshow.com to register and learn everything you need to know about this global supply chain technology event.